Joe, you got enough wind up here?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Paints are starting to freeze. Okay, I'm out of here.
Plein air, it's French for full air, or to paint outdoors in the open. Plein air artist of thin air, that's a nickname an artist friend gave me after my habit of painting from the tops of the mountains. I've been doing art for almost 60 years, but only climbing for about 50. And I'll never be a great climber, but I sure love the commute to work. And the work for me is to paint these views, the mountaineer's view. In my mind, that's the greatest landscape to paint. And nobody I knew was painting them. In the mountaineer's view, you have space dropping off below you for thousands of feet and then sweeping out across the valley for miles to distant mountains on the horizon. Nearby peaks are below the horizon line, which is a reversal of most landscape paintings where the mountains soar above the horizon. And on top of a mountain, you're above the rat race. Troubles down below seem insignificant up here. And there's a sense of awe at the majesty of God in creation. The huckleberry, that's a sign of good things to come.
All my life I've been a traveling man.
I'm especially fond of the Tetons, pictorially and for climbing. My family's history in the Tetons goes back to 1916 when my great-grandmother came into the valley to hunt. She came back every year as a dude until the end of her life. My great-uncle Carl, Arnold, climbed the Grand Teton in the 30s with a young guide by the name of Paul Petzel. But it was my brother Drew who got me started climbing in 1967. Those were the days of gold line rope, pitons hammered into the rock for protection, Vibram soles on the climbing boots. Since those early days, I've painted from peaks in many countries, but the Tetons, that's still my home stomping ground. I've covered the whole range, north to south, top to bottom, and painted everywhere I went. But there's still one spot that eluded me. I wanted to paint from right here on the north ridge of the Grand Teton. So some friends and I got together with me and Jason, my son, and we headed out.
Let's just hike from the moraine up to here and bivouac
At that little pinnacle. Now throw all the chicken in here.
So we're up here on the lower saddle. You know, we thought, why don't we just go light and fast? And we want to get on the north ridge of the Grand. So let's just carry some bivouac gear. The added bonus is that we get to kind of get away from the crowds a little bit, get away from the lower saddle, and get up in the high country where we can do some photography and my dad can do some painting.
Oh, yes, it is the eye of the needle. It is easier for a camel to get through the eye of the needle than for a rich man to get into paradise. Good thing I'm not a camel or rich. Yahoo! Right now we're at the upper saddle where you rope up for the first technical part of the climb. It was at this spot 47 years ago that Jason's mom Allison was with a group of climbers with Paul Petzolt's famous New Year's Eve climb of the Grand. When you think of those winter conditions, well, it actually makes our effort look kind of puny.
Right now, I am simul climbing with our team over to the North Ridge. Owen Spalding's like chimneys behind me. And this is the Valhalla traverse. And there's Jason up front, our fearless leader. Yeehaw! Look at this, Joe. Oh my gosh. This is where they park the buses? I think this is the bus park. Bus depot.
So we bivouacked on the west ledge of the Grand Teton at 13,000 feet, where we would have access to the North Ridge and be in a position to catch the dawn light from a mountaineer's perspective. Nobody else is crazy enough to drag their art supplies up here to paint on location. I mean, all my artist friends think I'm nuts.
So, I don't know if this is important to you, but I have to poop. It's a double back system. This is how much toilet paper they give me. Not gonna cut it. I have extra. If you poop in a bag, you have to carry it out.
It's probably my highest bivouac ever.
Yeah, this might be my highest too. This is my first bivouac. This is my first everything. Thank you guys.
Well, I hope we don't regret it. It's 32 degrees, the wind is howling, nasty clouds are blowing around, and we don't have any shelter. I mean, if we get stormed on up here, we're screwed. We were blessed. It didn't rain. Yet about us the lakes and dim forests dream on, reluctant to stir though the darkness is gone, and of all the earth's hosts only we are abroad in this hour, when the peaks are communing with God. Fridtjof Fritzl, the first ascensionist of the North Ridge of the Grand Teton. Dawn, it's freezing cold. And the colors are changing every 5 minutes. And to save weight, I only have about 1/4 of the colors I would have in the studio to work with. But you know, it's out of this desperate situation the best is pulled out of you. There's a spontaneity, a shorthand you use, essentially. Your style comes out. You can liken it to climbing. I mean, does a climber really want everything to be safe and predictable? All the moves prescribed from a guidebook? Doesn't he want to push himself beyond what he thought possible, where failure is likely, but the rewards are great? So we're traversing over to the second ledge of the North Ridge, a very pleasant commute to work, and actually a lot less dangerous than, say, driving through Denver traffic at rush hour. Jason first climbed the Grand when he was 8 years old. Here he is on the right with his mom and his brother John. He went on to be a great climber. At 18, he worked at Dornan's and climbed in all his spare time with his buddy Oliver. That fall, they went and climbed El Cap in Yosemite. Now we're passing it on to his kids.
Okay, yeah. Hey, what'd you think of that? Little fish. There you go. That's it. Got her, dude.
Well, this is the mountaineer's view. 360 degrees of sublime, epic scenery. It's overwhelming, really. $2.15, $8.15 or $16.15. And really, anything you can bring home, you know, some of the color, some of the drawing, even a little scrap of something you can pull off in the 20 minutes that you have, it's worthwhile.
Nice job, Jason.
Thanks, Dad. That great lead up there.
Thank you.
We were tame.
It's not just about matching colors. That's important from this plein air study. But as you move into a larger studio piece, can you keep the freshness that's in this little study? The lively brushwork that is the hallmark of plein air painting? There's always a battle between the expressive and the descriptive. If I start describing every detail I see in the photo, then I start to lose the freshness, the expressive part of it. So it's a balance you're trying to achieve, really. And the expressive part includes a lively brushwork that's not too fussy, you know? That's what the Impressionists did so brilliantly, and that's what gives life to their work. There you go. Nothing creates scale like a human figure. That's a universal measurement everybody relates to. Well, I'll tweak that some more over the next few weeks. But right now, I have to clear my head and get outside. There's always another climb, another painting, and I'll keep doing it until I can't do it no more, or the Lord takes me home. Whichever comes first, I'm okay with it.